The Korean Demilitarized Zone. Even the name itself evokes a sense of unease, a weight of history and tension. Stretching for 155 miles across the Korean peninsula, this 2.5-mile-wide buffer zone is a stark reminder of a war never truly finished. It's a place where the echoes of battle still linger, and the threat of conflict remains palpable. This is not just a border, it's a scar, a physical manifestation of the ideological divide that cleaved a nation in two. To the north, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, shrouded in secrecy. To the south, the Republic of Korea, a bustling democracy forged in the fires of war, and caught in between the DMZ, a no-man's land where time seems to stand still. Over the decades, the DMZ has become an accidental wildlife sanctuary, a haven for species driven out by human activity elsewhere. Rare birds soar overhead, endangered mammals roam freely, all oblivious to the geopolitical significance of their home. It's a poignant irony, a testament to nature's resilience in the face of human conflict. Join me as we venture into the heart of this geopolitical tinderbox, exploring the history, the stories, and the uncertain future of the world's most dangerous border. The year was 1953. After 3 years of brutal conflict, the guns finally fell silent on the Korean peninsula. The Korean War, a proxy war that pitted the communist North against the US-backed South, had claimed millions of lives and left the peninsula in ruins. But there was no peace treaty, only an armistice, a fragile agreement to cease hostilities. The Demilitarized Zone was born out of this uneasy truce. A line drawn across the country at the 38th parallel, marking the ceasefire line between the two Koreas. It was meant to be a temporary measure, a buffer zone to prevent further clashes. But over 7 decades later, it remains a stark symbol of a divided nation and a world on edge. The DMZ is not just a line on a map, it's a heavily fortified border, bristling with barbed wire fences, minefields, and watchtowers manned by soldiers on high alert. It's a landscape frozen in time, dotted with abandoned villages, remnants of a life interrupted by war. And yet, even amidst the tension, there are glimmers of hope. The Joint Security Area, or JSA, located within the DMZ, serves as a neutral ground where North and South Korean soldiers stand face to face, a constant reminder of the delicate balance that holds the peninsula together. Stepping into the DMZ is like stepping back in time. Villages abandoned during the war stand frozen in a state of perpetual decay. Crumbling buildings overgrown with vegetation serve as silent witnesses to the lives torn apart by conflict. The air hangs heavy with the weight of history, a constant reminder of the human cost of division. One such village is Daeseongdong, often called Freedom Village. Located just south of the military demarcation line, it's the only civilian settlement permitted within the southern side of the DMZ. Its residents, mostly farmers, live under constant military protection, their lives a curious mix of normalcy and extraordinary circumstances. They are allowed to farm the land, their crops a rare symbol of life amidst the barren landscape of the DMZ. But their movements are restricted, their lives subject to strict military regulations. They are, in a sense, both prisoners and symbols of hope, living proof that life, however tenuous, can persist even in the most unlikely of places. Further north, on the other side of the demarcation line, lies the propaganda village of Kijeongdong. Once touted by North Korea as a thriving collective farm, it's now believed to be largely uninhabited, a Potemkin village designed to project an image of prosperity to the outside world. Within the DMZ, there are places where the human toll of the Korean War becomes heartbreakingly real. One such place is the Bridge of No Return, a stark reminder of the families torn apart by conflict. It was here that thousands of prisoners of war were exchanged after the armistice. For many, it was a joyous reunion, a chance to return home after years of captivity. But for others, it was a moment of agonizing decision. Some North Korean POWs, fearing persecution, chose to stay in the South. Others, swayed by propaganda or family ties, opted to return to the North, unaware of the fate that awaited them. The bridge stands as a silent testament to their stories, a symbol of the enduring human cost of the Korean War. It's a reminder that the division of Korea is not just a political issue, but a deeply personal tragedy that continues to affect millions of lives. Section 5, Concrete and Barbed Wire, a day in the life of a DMZ soldier. Life on the DMZ is not for the faint of heart. Both North and South Korean soldiers stand guard along the border, their fingers on the trigger, ever vigilant for any sign of aggression. It's a life of constant tension where even the slightest misstep could spark a conflict. Days are spent patrolling the fence line, checking for signs of infiltration and monitoring the enemy's movements. Nights are long and filled with uncertainty, the darkness punctuated by the sounds of propaganda broadcasts echoing across the DMZ. The psychological strain is immense. Soldiers are trained to be constantly alert, to view the other side as the enemy, even though many have family members living just miles away, separated by the same barbed wire fences. The threat of conflict is ever present, a constant weight on their shoulders. Despite the hardships, many soldiers view their service on the DMZ as a badge of honor. They are the guardians of peace, the thin line that separates two nations on the brink of war. Their dedication and sacrifice are a testament to the enduring desire for peace on the Korean Peninsula. Section 6. Tunnels of Tension, Incursions and Espionage. The DMZ may be a demilitarized zone in name, but it's far from a peaceful place. Over the decades, there have been numerous incidents along the border ranging from minor skirmishes to daring incursions. One of the most audacious examples of this clandestine warfare was the discovery of tunnels dug by North Korea under the DMZ. These tunnels, some stretching for miles, were designed to bypass the heavily fortified border and allow for a surprise invasion. The discovery of these tunnels in the 1970s sent shockwaves through South Korea and the international community. It was a chilling reminder of North Korea's willingness to use unconventional tactics and the ever-present threat of conflict. While no new tunnels have been discovered in recent years, the possibility of their existence continues to fuel tensions. It's a reminder that beneath the surface of this seemingly frozen conflict, a dangerous game of espionage and military posturing continues. Section 7. A Fragile Peace. The Axe Murder Incident and its Aftermath. The fragility of the peace on the DMZ was brought into sharp focus in 1976 with the Axe Murder Incident. Two U.S. Army officers, part of a work crew trimming a tree in the Joint Security Area, were brutally killed by North Korean soldiers. The incident pushed the two Koreas to the brink of war. The U.S. responded with a massive show of force, flying nuclear-capable bombers over South Korea and putting its forces on high alert. Tensions soared, and for a brief period it seemed like full-scale war was a real possibility. Ultimately, cooler heads prevailed, and the crisis was averted. But the incident served as a stark reminder of how easily a seemingly minor incident could escalate into a full-blown conflict in this highly volatile region. Section 8. Whispers of War, Hopes for Peace. The DMZ in the 21st Century. The 21st century has seen some tentative steps towards reconciliation on the Korean Peninsula. There have been family reunions for those separated by the war, and both sides have engaged in diplomatic talks. In 2018, a historic summit between the leaders of North and South Korea took place at the border village of Panmunjom. The two leaders shook hands, walked together across the military demarcation line, and pledged to work towards denuclearization and a lasting peace. Despite these glimmers of hope, the situation on the Korean Peninsula remains tense. North Korea's nuclear ambitions continue to be a major stumbling block, and mutual mistrust runs deep. The DMZ, once a symbol of division, now represents both the enduring legacy of the Korean War and the fragile hope for a peaceful future. Section 9. A Future Beyond the Fence. What does the future hold for the DMZ? Will it remain a stark reminder of a divided nation? Or could it one day become a symbol of reunification and reconciliation? The answer to that question remains uncertain. Some envision a future where the DMZ is transformed into a peace park, a place where people from both sides can come together to commemorate the past and build a shared future. Others believe that the two Koreas are destined to remain separate, their differences too deeply entrenched to overcome. Only time will tell what the future holds. But one thing is certain. The DMZ will continue to hold a powerful grip on the imagination, a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and the enduring hope for peace.